Good evening and thanks for joining us for 23 ABC News at 6. I'm Keely Van Middendorp.
And I'm Mark Blaine. On a surprise move, a bill that would have expanded health care and disability benefits for millions of veterans was blocked. The Honoring Our Promise to Address Comprehensive Toxics Act of 2022, also known as the PACT Act, was expected to pass the Senate Wednesday night.
But in an 11th hour change, a procedural vote on the bill failed. Steve Nannis explains.
An uphill battle to expand health care and disability benefits for veterans exposed to toxic burn pits at and near U.S. military bases overseas. The PACT Act was expected to pass the Senate. The bill needed 60 votes to advance, but the vote was 55-42 on Wednesday night.
There are going to be veterans die between now and when this bill passes.
Activist Jon Stewart called opponents of the bill, quote, cowards.
This is an embarrassment to the Senate, to the country, to the founders, and all that they profess to hold dear.
Open-air pits were used to burn everything from trash to human waste to chemicals at military sites. It's estimated 3.5 million service members were exposed in Iraq and Afghanistan. Veteran Rafael Barbosa is among those battling an invisible wound of war. He believes his stage 4 colon cancer was caused by burn pit exposures.
There were some soldiers that were just sitting there in that space with this toxic fume cloud over them for over a year. And now when I think about that in retrospect, it's honestly horrifying.
Advocates say if eventually passed, the long-awaited legislation would make it easier for veterans to seek medical coverage.
It takes away the burden on the soldier so that they can focus on fighting for their life, or so that their family can focus on grieving and healing.
It would also expand screening.
And that could have been the difference between stage 2 colon cancer, which is survivability in the 90s, and what I ended up with, which is stage 4, which is survivability in the low teens. A big difference.
In Washington, I'm Steve Nannis reporting.
It's not clear when the Senate vote will be rescheduled. Congress is expected to leave for a month-long recess at the end of next week. If the Senate passes the legislation, President Biden has promised to sign the PACT Act into law. Biden believes burn pits may have caused the brain cancer that killed his son, Bo. Bo, an Iraq War veteran, died in 2015.
And staying on topic with the subject, 23 ABC is taking an in-depth look at numbers illustrating burn pit exposure among U.S. military veterans. According to survey results conducted by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, 91% of former military personnel reported being exposed to burn pits during their deployment. Additionally, almost 70% of surveyed veterans said on-base pollution during deployment was their greatest health concern. And for almost 25% of survey participants, lung problems have taken a heavy toll on their daily activities. Lastly, 58% of military veterans surveyed in this report were members of the U.S. Army.